Hello YouTube, PsychoFox here. So welcome to the first episode of What Have You Bought That For? So yeah, what have I bought this for? Well, it's as you can see, it's an Amstrad CPC 6128. And why have I bought it when it actually doesn't work? Well, I've been told it's untested, which usually means faulty. Well, to be honest, I bought it because it looks in nice condition, and you can see it is. The seller was actually selling two of these, and this panel here was all sort of scratched up and faded, but this one looks nice. It was only £25, and that was one of the other drawers. It's got all screws intact. Everything, all screws intact. Everything's sort of nice, and all it needed was a little clean. So one of the reasons I bought it is because I wanted one of these 3-inch disk drives for my Amstrad PCW, and they're all identical. This one will work just fine in that. It's just got a little extra bit of a metal mounting bracket on it. So all I've done with this really at the moment is I've just given it a wipe down with some baby wipes. I put a disc in the drive and ejected it, and the mechanism works fine. Obviously the belt in there will need replacing, but yeah, it's looking good. I've got no power supply, and I think the seller didn't either. That's why it was untested. So what I'm going to do is take it apart and have a little look. It's filthy inside, as you can see, but that's to be expected. So yeah, we'll open it up, have a look, give it a clean, and what I want to do eventually is take that out and put a Gotek in there, because I've been using a Gotek with my Amiga 500, and I'm really impressed with them. I think it's the way for me at the moment to play Amstrad games. So I think that's what I'll do, because this will play CPC, all Amstrad CPC games will play via a Gotek in there. I don't really want to go down the route of buying 3-inch Amstrad games. That's what I do for the PCW. I don't want to buy CPC ones as well. So anyway, without further ado, let's crack this open and have a look. Okay, so with the case off there, yeah, as we could see through the holes in the back, there's a fair bit of dust made its way inside. But aside from that, it looks good. This bottom portion of the board that was hidden away under the keyboard, it's looking good. There's the disk drive, model EME156, slightly later revision drive, and the marks on the case show its case was molded in 1988, so it's yeah, of that vintage, 1988. Obviously these drives were used in Amstrad's PCWs from 1985 onwards. So this one I will recondition and put in an Amstrad PCW. All you do is remove this bracket there. It'll also need a extra shield fitting onto it as well before you put it in the PCW, and it'll need a little caddy. They slot into a caddy. But yeah, so yeah, let's get the isopropyl out, and let's give this a little once over. Okay, so I've gone good going over with isopropyl, especially around all these connectors on the rear of the machine here that were caked in grime and dust, and it's come up really nice. So everything's looking good. I've taken the 3-inch disk drive out, and I've actually reconditioned that, and that's working fine. That's currently in my Amstrad PCW. So I've had this running. I've got a 5V 2 amp power supply, and although the machine turns on, holding down the delete key, you get no sounds. So I'm not hopeful about it in regard that it's actually working 100%. One thing I did notice though, testing the voltages, especially at the back of the 5V jack here, only about 3.7 volts is getting to the board, so I'm thinking that power supply isn't actually giving the 2 amps that it says it is. It's only a cheap Chinese one. So what I'm going to do is get another cheap Chinese one, this one, but because the price is right, but 5 volt 3 amps, that should give it a bit more juice, should be a bit beefier. I did test, I bridged the power connector there just to check if that wasn't drawing current, or I don't know, just interfering in some way. No, it was exactly the same, so I think it's the power supply. So I'll get the power supply, and then we'll see if we can get it running. Okay, so here from China in record time is the 5 volt 3 amp tip positive power supply, and that's what you'll need to power one of these original 6128s. So I've had this plugged in and not attached to the computer. It's given 5.1 volts. Once attached, the whole board is getting 4.7 volts, so it's a tiny bit lower than it should be. So I'm not sure whether the switch is a bit crusty inside, but I mean it's all getting the power. I mean, the Z80 was getting 3.7 volts, and now it's getting 4.7, so hopefully it should be a bit happier. And I've done the delete key test, and we've got sound now, so I'm thinking it's working. I've just got to hook it up to the monitor. I've got retro computer shack cable there. Highly recommend Ian's cables. One thing I've noticed after leaving it running for a while, some of these chips do get quite warm. Z80, as you can expect. Is it CRTC? That one there, but that socketed chip there gets slightly warm. But this one, the left-hand side of this chip, IC201, I'm not really sure what its function is. The left-hand side of that does get pretty warm pretty quick. No RAM chips get warm. So yeah, I'm thinking if it's all good and it all works, I'll get some adhesive tape and some little aluminium heat sinks on some of these chips, especially that one, just to help radiate the heat, because yeah, it gets quite warm. So yeah, this thing will function without a floppy drive, without the 12 volts going into it. I mean, when you put a GoTech in, you don't even need the 12 volts. You can run a GoTech off the 5 volts if you can get an adapter rigged up, as far as I'm aware. So that's what I'm hoping to do in the long term. But anyway, for now, just reseated all the socketed chips, cleaned everything off. It's getting the voltage, so right, let's go and test it in. Let's not plug it in. Let's not delay it any further. Okay, so I got everything hooked up. Got the SCART lead in the back. So let's just flick the button. Power. And yes, blue screen. So version 3 of the Amstrad 128K microcomputer. Excellent. There we are. I'm alive. Missing the apostrophe, but you get the idea. Fantastic stuff. So yeah, in part 2 I'll be attaching the heat sinks, and we'll try and get a GoTech in here and get some games playing on it. So yeah, really pleased with £25 for this, untested, and at the moment all it's needed is a bit of a clean and the disk drive reconditioning. So very pleased with that. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in part 2. Yeah, proof I can't spell.